Why I write? Well, I write to figure myself out. I write to figure out the world. And my books are always a snapshot of who I was in that moment and what was happening in the world around me when I was writing that book. On the one hand, it's true. Book sales have gone up since the pandemic. They've gone up mostly for a lot of classic books, because I think a lot of people want to turn to something comforting and something they know. So it's a lot of books that already exist that are being picked up and that people are finding comfort in, which I think is a wonderful thing. On the flip side, it has been devastating for debut authors because there's just no vehicle to promote your new books. So I really feel for the new upcoming authors and debut authors during this time. So it has definitely hit the industry in that way for new titles. And the hardest part of it for me, and I say this with kind of a little note saying that, you know, I know that I'm pretty lucky, like most writers are pretty lucky in that we work from home, you know, like we have a job that lets us be at home safely. And so I can't complain about that. You know, I think that was a huge privilege to have. But, you know, as writers, we kind of thrive on creativity, and creativity is inspired by other creativity. So I get that creativity and that inspiration when I am taking in things that other people have made, written, drawn, illustrated by other people, by places that I go to, you know, by interacting. And when quarantine happened, you know, all of that just gets shut off. And, you know, I'm an introvert. I like staying in my house, but this was a strange new level of like, oh, I am cut off from the fountain of creativity. I'm cut off from like the inspiration of all the people around me and from the world and the, you know, the society is buzzing with like life and new things. So it felt very, very, very strange and very hard to sit in my room and try to be creative. And I had a lot of conversations with fellow authors who all felt the same way. We're like, you know, we've got all this extra time. Why aren't we suddenly, you know, writing 10 books or whatever? And it's because you have nowhere to draw it from, you know. And I think for the first time in my life, I kind of realized that, oh, I'm an introvert, but I need access to the outer world, you know. So that was definitely a challenge that I had to get over, and I'm still, you know, not quite over it. And I'm hoping that soon we can all be out of that and start to see more of our friends and family and the world at large. I think perhaps success in a literary sense is getting to write what you want to write. Like that is a really big one, and especially as your career goes on, because I think that writing is a really precarious profession. You know, it's never really guaranteed that you're gonna get the chance to write another book professionally. And every book could be our last, depending on how it performs. So the longer you stay in the game, the harder it gets to stay in the game. And I think that a lot of times we, in order to stay in the game, you feel like you have to write things that aren't really your beck and call, but that, you know, will keep you alive, will put bread on the table and that kind of thing. And so I think success is not having to worry about any of that. And you just write what you want to write. And it doesn't matter if it sells 2 copies, because you just don't care. And you just write whatever it is that makes you happy.